This is Melinda Barlow, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher, and today's lesson is Leafling by Dorothy Allison, which is a tangle that's really closely related to Showgirl and Biscuit. And I will put a link to Showgirl and Biscuit's videos in the description below so you don't have to hunt around for them. But I think you're going to really like this tangle. I've done it on white, brown, and gray tiles. And those tiles are available at Inkidoodles.com if you want to go to the store there and check that out. So let's get started with Leafling. This is Leafing by Dorothy Allison. And this is the one I've done on gray paper. I really like that one, how it turned out. Here's one I did on brown with a little brown pen. And I used terracotta pencil to shade and graphite to shade. And here's another one I did on white paper and just colored it with colored pencils. So let's get started. I'm going to use a white tile because it's so much easier for you to see what I'm doing when I use a white tile. Let me get my pen, and we're going to start leafing. And Allison does, I have two tiles there. Thought it felt a little big. Allison does her leafing just a little different than I do, but I always tell people, look at the tangle and draw it the way that feels best for you. Not always using the exact step outs will work for you, and sometimes you need to just step it up a little and find a way that's easiest for you. So that's what I do. I look at someone's step outs and then I think, is that going to be easy? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And I found with Dorothy's that I needed to add myself a little starting point because her step outs don't give a starting point. And you can color it in or you cannot. And then I'm going to make my little triangle shape that she makes her first. And I'm going to rotate it. And this pen has a funny little tip that is giving me a wide and a narrow. I'm going to have to change pens here. I don't like how that one's drawing. Because I got a really wide tip there. And then I've got these spokes going around in 4 ways. So I've got 4 different kind of triangular spokes coming out. And they can have a little curve. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to make a little triangle shape, stepping back into this other one, just kind of fanning back. And I just have that little curve. Sometimes I can get that little curve in there, and then sometimes I don't. You can see I just rotate my tile as I go around. And there we have leafing. That's it. Now, you can come back and add to leafing. You can come back and add on the back side and let them do a little hollybaw effect if you wanted. So they just come back in. That's a variation. And then I'm going to color in because I liked how Dorothy had colored. Her center was all black. And that gives me that drama that I like. So I did that on every one. You can see that I did it on this one. I colored in black. Also on the brown tile and on the gray one. And I'm just going to show you some little variations that I did. You can come out, you could make more of the same thing coming out here. Just draw another little circle and do another leafing. Or you could just have a couple of leafing come out I give it that nice round look, and I can come on this side and work my way down, doing a little hollybot, and I can come on this side. And you notice I'm coming all right down to that same spot. And that's why I think a lot of tangles are just variations of other tangles, but I love it because I love the idea that you can take a pattern and create something different from a very similar pattern that you may have. And if you're into creating lots of tangles, that's great. You can just put them out there and name them, but maybe you just want to draw. And so I love that little kind of curve look that Dorothy gave it. And I love looking online for different tangles because it helps me have a variety in what I do. Even though I think a lot of what I do look a lot alike, we all have our own drawing pattern, and so you can get a lot. And I'm going to have this one kind of go back the other direction, so it's not all going one direction. I just wanted to come back the other way. Now, if you've watched very many of my videos, you know I need drama in a tangle. It's got to have shading, it's got to have black, and this has a little bit of black. So I'm going to come back in here, and I'm going to fill in just the crevices in behind where that little step might be, just to give some black drama, some color to that contrast. Is what the word I'm looking for is contrast. That contrast that you need to make your tangles kind of stand out. So that helps it stand out. And shading will also do that. So you can take this one. It would be really fun to color this with a colored pencil. Let me look. Oh, I haven't done it. I've been stuck on red lately, so I'm going to get a blue pencil out. Put the cap on that. And I'm just going to put a little blue down in those very crevices. Got it. Another shade of blue I might use. And I'm just putting it pretty dark right here in those tips. And these are a Prisma color pencil, but you can use any color pencil. I'm going to come back and overlap that color. We'll see what happens. And now I'm going to take a little odorless paint thinner. This is what I'm going to use. And then I dip my shading stump, and I use the ones that are rolled up with paper. The rolled paper ones, they seem to absorb and blend better. And then just blend out with my color. If I don't have enough, this is going to be pretty light coming out. It's just going to blend that out to the tip, because I didn't put much color in there. If I put it in a little farther out on these larger ones, I'm going to get a little bit more color out to the tip. Just going to blend that pigment, softens the pigment and the wax in the colored pencil and blends them out. And you can just keep blending. Goes fairly fast. I like that one. It was where I had that this kind of a peacock color. Peacock blue is that one right there, and that's a pretty one. So you can get some nice blending, really easy way of blending those color pencils. And I can get lots of different shades out of my color pencils just by putting one color pencil down and then blending it out. And you do have to be a little careful when you have inked in. I inked in that pretty dark, and I got a little black off of that. I didn't let it dry quite enough, so I got a little black. I am getting a little more paint thinner onto my blending stump. And you notice I've used the same blending stump through the whole project. I used to not color my Tangle. I'm a real traditionalist, but lately I've really gotten to where I love to color. I love to add the color. It really helps. Go back in and add a little bit more of that peacock blue there. I love how different color pencils hold different pigments. So you're going to just test out your color pencil, find out how much pigment's in each one. You can come back and layer your pigments so you get a different color, you know, just another color on top of that. Now that you've got that colored, you want to let it dry for just, you know, a little bit, because that it will blend it will bleed your micron. It will bleed a little bit just because of that. I'm going to come back in and I'm going to add just a little dot right here to this tangle. It just adds a little bit more feeling and drama. And as you notice, I put up my little dot down, and then I just rotate right in the center to give it a little bit bigger, not just the end of your pen size, but I want it to be a little bit bigger, a little bit more prominent. So I'm just swirling that just a little bit. And I'm doing it after I color. I'm sure you could do it before. but I don't want that black to smear in any. So I'm going to make sure that it's good. I do it afterwards or make sure it's really dry. And you can come back and use a lead pencil and shade underneath. That's what I did here, is I shaded with gray with my graphite around the outside to kind of let it float a little, and then I used white on the inside, and you can do that. This could have other tangles added to it. This is a fun tangle, leafing, by Dorothy Allison, and I've enjoyed doing this tangle, and I hope you enjoy doing it. It's got lots of fun things you can do with it. So thanks for watching, and have a great day.